Hello everybody, welcome back to another reading. Today we're taking a look at the case of Brandon Lawson, as I introduced in the short video last week. Now the thing with shorts videos is that they have to be a minute or less, so if you were listening to that and going, I think there's a lot of information missing, note that is because I only had a few seconds to actually communicate what this was going to be about. But now we're going to go and dive into the whole thing as it appears on Wikipedia. So, on August 8th of 2013, Brandon Lawson arrived at his home in San Angelo, Texas, where he lived with his girlfriend of 10 years, Ladessa Lofton. Between approximately 10:45 and 11 p.m., Lawson and Lofton argued. Lawson had not returned home the night before, and Lofton believed that Lawson was on drugs at that time. At the time, Lawson had an ongoing issues with substance abuse, but had been clear for about 6 months. Lawson's brother Kyle Lawson later claimed that Brandon had taken methamphetamines shortly before his disappearance. Around 11:30 p.m., Brandon Lawson called his father in Crawley, Texas, about a 3-hour drive from San Angelo, and told him he was coming to his house. At 11:54, also p.m., Lawson left his house to go to his father's house, driving his silver Ford F-150. At about 12:30 a.m. on August 9th, Lawson called Kyle and told him he had run out of gas and was pulled over on U.S. Route 277 between San Angelo and Bronte, Texas. Kyle claimed that during the call, Lawson told him that 3 expletives are chasing me out of town, and later clarified it was the Mexicans in the neighborhood. Kyle asked if he was hallucinating, which Lawson denied. Kyle, along with his wife and 4-year-old child, drove to Lawson's house and retrieved a fuel container. Kyle said they continued to make calls to each other, but Lawson wouldn't hold a conversation with him, usually ending the call after a few sentences. After 12:50 a.m., Lawson called 911, which rang at a local nursing home in Robert Lee, Texas, and he told the responder that he had run out of gas and that he needed the police. During the call, Lawson made several confused or incoherent statements, including, "Yes, I'm in the middle of a field," inaudible, "pulled some guys over, right here going toward Abilene on both sides," and "my truck ran out of gas. There's one car here. The guy's chasing," inaudible, "to the woods. Please hurry." Several minutes later, at 12:56 a.m., a trucker called 911 to report Lawson's truck, which was parked in a hazardous manner on the road. Between 12:50 a.m. and 1:15 a.m., Lawson received and made several calls with his brother, his girlfriend, his neighbor, and the 911 dispatcher. Though his poor cell phone reception caused several of these calls to go straight to voicemail, and after 1:19 a.m., all calls to his phone went straight to voicemail. At around 1:18 a.m., Kyle called Lawson, who sounded out of breath and claimed he was bleeding. Shortly after 1 a.m., a sheriff's deputy arrived at Lawson's truck, though Lawson was not there. Kyle arrived at the truck at around 1:10 a.m. At the time, he was on the phone with Lawson, who told him, "I can see you, I'm right here." But neither the deputy nor Kyle could see him. At the time of his disappearance, Lawson had an active arrest warrant on him, and Kyle thought that he may have been hiding from the deputy. After talking to the officer, Kyle drove a short distance up the road and parked the car to wait for Lawson to appear, though after about 30 to 45 minutes, he left. Kyle left the gas can in the back of Lawson's truck and later returned to the truck around 5 a.m., where he was surprised that Lawson had not returned. Around 8 a.m., the truck was towed. Then, in the aftermath of his disappearance, a local deputy organized a search party and spent several hours investigating the area near Lawson's truck, but found no signs of Lawson. Friends and family of Lawson set up a Facebook page called Help Find Brandon Lawson, which, as of 2022, had over 26,000 likes. On February 4, 2022, Lawson's family reported on the Help Find Brandon Lawson Facebook page that a search party had located clothing identified as Lawson's near his last known location, and that the Texas Rangers had subsequently conducted a search of the area and found human remains. DNA results are not complete as of March 2023, but the remains are expected to belong to Lawson. So as you can see, it could have been substance abuse, it could have been somebody actually chasing him, we don't really know. In any case, I was asked to take a look at this case with the tarot, and we're going to start with the Urban Tarot, which is the more modern one. And for any further questions, moving on to the Muse deck, which is this one with the more dreamy images. So as per usual, I'm just going to start shuffling the cards. As soon as I have about a table full of cards, we're going to stop and take a look. So without much further ado, let's get started. Okay, we've got the Strength card, we've got the Eight of Wands in reverse, and the Ten of Pentacles upright. So this is an interesting lineup here, because normally Strength would be like you're in your strength, you've conquered something, you're about to conquer something, you've got some type of strength of character. Maybe that is also what may have led to this, like maybe he was standing up to something, and then things kind of slowed down because of the Eight of Wands being in reverse. The card itself is called Swiftness. You see somebody riding a bike with a basket on front. Maybe this, combined with the Ten of Pentacles, is almost like there is some type of inheritance, something that's really valuable, and you're not able to run away from it. Maybe the strength, and he was trying to not go for it, but ultimately the strength probably did not last, because the next card is a Sun in reverse and the Nine of Swords, which is anxiety, called cruelty as well. So it looks as though they wanted something, or they felt like they could get something, but the speed that they needed in order to secure that, I guess, safely, quickly, and the matter that they wanted was lacking. That's why the Eight of Wands is in reverse. So the strength, they had the, I guess, the strength mentally possibly to go for it, but possibly physically not so much. In any case, it didn't quite turn out as they wanted. They still wanted this Ten of Pentacles though. They were heading for this goal. But whatever it was, it took the sun out of the life, and it took quite a bit of anxiety. Like I said, the Nine of Swords is often represented by somebody laying in bed with, they appear to be having a nightmare. There's a whole bunch of swords over their head, and they're just sitting up in bed looking very stressed. So whatever it is that they were chasing after did not quite turn out the way that they wanted it. As a matter of fact, on the next row we see the Seven of Pentacles, called Failure, and it is in reverse as well. Normally the Seven of Pentacles would be seeing things ripen on the vine, but it's actually either rotten on the vine, or it never was what he thought it would be. It was perhaps an illusion, or perhaps there were lies being told about it. And in any case, the future that he thought he was going to have, or the future, I guess, riches that he thought he was going to have, ended up falling through. We have here the Hanged Man in reverse, so we're also unable to let it go. We're unable to take a new perspective, to take a look at this. And we have a Queen of Swords here, called the Painter. Queen of Swords is somebody who's very logical, so this may be a confrontation with somebody else, or he may be stepping into his own Queen of Swords energy, where he's like, okay, well, this didn't work out. I'm going back to the drawing board, literally the painter, and I'm going to come up with a new plan to work my way out of this, and we're going to try a whole different tack. Now, I think the whole different tack that he was trying involves here this Knight of Cups, which in this card, or in this deck rather, is the King of Cups, but it's on its side. It kind of landed on its side, so it kind of had a half-hearted success rate, maybe. I feel like this Knight of Cups over here is him perhaps going to whoever was also involved in this whole thing right here, and trying to kind of talk their way out of it, or trying to charm somebody, because this knight or king is looking pretty charming. He's charming this woman who's on the other side of the bar, even though the stuff is burning behind him. Like, that kind of also represents the situation, perhaps. Like, there's things that are already going very much wrong. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of flames behind them. And I believe there's also a scorpion in the drink or something. Is that a scorpion or a crab? A crab. There's a crab in the drink. So I'm feeling like there's things that are pulling him back down, because that, of course, is the crab buckets. And even though he's trying his best to be charming and try to talk his way out of something, it's not quite working, because the deed has already been done. Negative things have already happened, and he can't quite go back on that. And whoever he's talking to, or whomever the people are that he's talking to, are not willing to go along with him. And then we see here the Hermit card, which is going into like a reclusive mode, possibly taking a moment to hide from the world, possibly also trying to go back internally, like trying to connect with their intuition. Maybe just also locking himself off with substances. I do believe he did have an issue with substance abuse, so maybe there was like a time where he was on something there in order to deal with this issue. I don't think that this is quite the time where he left yet. He left sometime, I believe, just after midnight that day, and I think this is either just before or perhaps shortly after, but in any case, right on that point. Let's go to the news deck to see what happens next. This one. Right, we have the Page of Swords. Okay, so now we have more ideas. I think because the page is often somebody who acts very quickly, perhaps irrationally. An idea came to mind. As you can see, there are people dancing around their head. They're looking through glasses. It's kind of like taking another look at things and just having all sorts of different ideas playing out in their head. And I think that the page in particular, like I said, they act very quickly, quite rashly. This may have been the idea to just go for it, or whatever it is that he thought that would solve the issue. It may not be the best idea that he's ever had, but at that moment he was going to run with it. Oop. This one's flips, just one card. All right, we have the Lovers in reverse, and this is not something that made the other people happy. It's kind of like the Two of Cups in ways that they are coming together with somebody. Normally, you would sign up to some type of way of thinking, a certain, I don't know, I guess plan or something that may have been agreed upon, but in this case, they're kind of shirking that agreement. So I feel like they're maybe leaving some things behind or abandoning certain people, certain mindsets that they had previously been connected to. And that is now their plan. They're like leaving that behind. And that was probably also not really thought through very well. Like maybe he should have been a little bit more subtle with that. So let's see, there's a whole stack here. I don't think I need all of them, so I'm going to try to get just one or two. That one and one that fell off screen. We have this one, the Emperor in reverse. Okay. Somebody who has a certain amount of authority in their life is either working against them or at least not doing them any favors, not supporting them in this case, kind of being aloof as well. They're kind of floating above everybody else as well. And the next card we have here is the Four of Voices, which is the Four of Swords, which is normally taking a break. So we're also not taking a break. Whether this is the Emperor not resting, which is likely, or Brandon also just not being able to sit still. It could be both. It kind of looks as though as soon as this Lovers card came through, that was like the starting point of, okay, now we're just going to go and do stuff. We're not going to wait. We're not going to rest. Also not on your side anymore. And now it's business, that type of thing. Let's see what else we can get. So this is probably the point where he is now driving out of town. I believe he said to his brother on the phone. He had been chased out of town. He ran out of gas. We have two cards here. Strength is back. Okay, so he definitely is showing a lot of strength of character. I think that's also where it started. So maybe there was something going on previously, before all this even happened, that he was just like, okay, I'm done with this. And that's when he started to rebel, I guess, against whoever these are. So we have strength here, and the sun is back, which is kind of the opposite of what we had over here. I feel like this act of defiance, which kind of looks as though it may have been made him feel very strong and like he's feeling very much alive right now. Like this may be adrenaline, but it may also just be like an outlook on a positive future or a way out of something, or just feeling like he's got some good chances. At the very least, very much feeling alive and exhilarated, I think, at this point, particularly because it's combined with strength. So I think this is definitely something akin to an adrenaline rush that we're seeing over here. Two cards. We have the Ten of Cups, and we have the Six of Inspiration, which is the Wands card. Okay, they're both in reverse. So the Six of Wands is normally being like the center focus, and the Ten of Cups is feeling really, really good, like being in a very harmonious situation. Now they're both in reverse, so I feel like this is the persona non grata type of situation where he is feeling very much like the person everybody wants to hate right now, that type of thing. Just feeling very bad about it with the Ten of Cups and also the Six of Wands in reverse. People are really out for him. At least that's how he feels at this point. At least it feels like nobody out there is on his side, and there are definitely a lot of people that are negatively regarding him. Okay, that one fell off screen. It is the Queen of Swords again in reverse. Okay, and it's also about to land on top of this Queen of Swords right here. So maybe this is the same person. Maybe he's like considering again what he should do next. Like in the previous Queen of Swords, he was trying to figure out like with a clean slate, what should I do? And he may be trying to do the same thing, but maybe right now he can't quite get to that same level of reason, rationality. Like maybe his thinking is too hurried, too haunted, maybe just not able to come up with any of the good ideas that he would normally have been able to come up with. And maybe working with the wrong information as well, like just the information that he may have may be garbled. He may not know quite where he is. He may not know quite where he's going or any of that type of thing. Just unable to make good decisions, clear thoughts, that type of stuff. Shown by the Queen of Voices in reverse. Also just working with the wrong information, I feel, because this card is covered in crows and ravens, it looks as though. I think they're ravens because they're quite large. And usually those are kind of like messengers in a lot of different types of folklore. They also are referred to as like eye drinkers. That's why I often use the Crow Tarot deck when I'm like looking for somebody who was already passed. Because the idea behind the crows was that they would come to a battlefield and peck out the eyes of the fallen, which is kind of gross, but still. And the belief was that once they were consuming the eyes of the fallen, then the crow would have a vision of what those eyes had seen last, that type of thing. So this is kind of like he's flying blind, and maybe just doesn't have all the information that he needs to make the correct decisions in this case. Looks as though very long story there to explain one card, but I just wanted to get that extra information in there as well to let you know what I'm thinking about is possibly happening here. What else can we see? Oh, okay, I'll take the top of that, but it's an entire stack here, so I'm not going to take all of them. But in any case, we have here the Knight of Inspiration. This is, yeah, here we go. This is taking very rash actions. Knight of Inspiration is the Knight of Wands, which is normally fairly actionable already, charging ahead, but it's also charging ahead in the wrong direction. As you can see, there's fireworks going off. I think the manes of the horse are actually fire. The hooves are on fire. Everything's on fire. And I think that they are acting very rashly, like I said, based on incorrect information. Now let's see if there's anything else from this stack that we need. These guys? Okay. Five of Swords is fighting, possibly internally. It's upright though, so probably fighting with other people. We have here the Star. So now they're drawing attention. I think this is the part where everybody was kind of focusing on him, even though nobody knew where he was. Like, there's a lot of thoughts, words being sent back and forth here. Things are probably a little bit confusing, but we also have here the Star, which is kind of like pointing them out. There's like a beam hitting this person's head, like, oh look, this is the one we're looking for right now, and possibly also representing how they may have wanted to reach out in some way other than, say, a phone, because sometimes they just weren't able to connect. I believe their connection was so bad that the phone regularly went to voicemail, that type of stuff. And when they did have him on the line, they weren't able to exchange more than a few sentences at a time either. So communication is very sparing, but there is a lot of focus on him. And I see an olive branch at the Five of Voices card, like they're trying to possibly also calm things down somehow. Like maybe they were calling a whole bunch of people to try and like discuss things with different groups at the same time, possibly, and they may have tried to extend an olive branch. But everybody at that point in time was really out focusing on Brandon, and probably also going after him for different reasons. One group possibly wanted to find him just to bring him home, and there may have been another group there whom he broke contact with this Lover's card, who wanted to have some words with him. In the meantime, this card has fallen. It is the Ace of Swords. All right, so the Ace of Swords is a new idea, possibly a new deal that they're trying to strike, and they may be trying to settle things, possibly. What else can we see? Like, it's also a possible gateway into something new. And the sword is going through the top of a crown. So maybe they're like, oh, I need to possibly let go of something old and then move on to something new. And that was possibly their idea, plan, or suggestion. This one. All right, so Prince of Discs is basically King of Pentacles, the day trader, who is also somebody who's very methodical and was to basically influence people to their own advantage. Obviously, a very practical person. So I feel like this new idea may have been, hey, why don't I do this for you? And then you can do this for me. And then at the end, we all kind of profit from this or something. And we can all kind of leave it behind, go home, you know. Also kind of flipping a coin here, like it's kind of like a last-ditched effort gamble that this might work. Although he did put some confidence behind that, I feel. Like he's looking pretty confident over here, so he's got an idea. He's like, okay, here it is, guys. Listen to this. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. You're going to get this. I'm going to get that. We're all going to go home. It's going to be fine. That type of thing. Like, that's the type of energy that I'm getting from these two cards in particular. Let's see what happens next. Oh, that one wanted to flip, but didn't. We might get it later. This one. This one is the Ten of Wands. Okay, so he might be feeling either he is caught, but the Ten of Wands is sometimes also like just taking the burden to its final place, like almost reaching town. This person on the card may be walking toward the exit, like he's about to be released, even though some people might see it as they're being led into jail. Could be that they're about to leave, that type of thing. So it could be thinking that he may finally be able to let this burden go, or it turns out that the plan that he had did not receive or did not get the reception that he was hoping, and therefore we are now very much down or put down a pawn. Seven of Swords, futility. Okay, so there is a snake in the grass. There is something that they were not expecting. Possibly the people on the other end of this deal already had certain plans that he was not aware of, just like here with the Queen of Voices or the Queen of Swords, just not really using the right information because it's not available to him. We have here, like I said, Seven of Swords. It's upright though, and then you have the Six of Cups. Pleasure is the name of the card. It's kind of like calling back to the past. And then we have the Page of Swords. Again, we have the Page of Swords over here already. So I feel like even though he's now able to see that the information that he had earlier was incorrect, he is now trying to maybe come up with some other plan on the spot by calling back to perhaps having known somebody in the past, maybe having had a previous interaction with somebody before, and trying to call upon that, like, hey, you know, remember that? Weren't those good times? That type of thing. And don't you want that again? Or doesn't that like deserve something? Don't I get to have a second chance because of that, or whatever it is? Page of Swords, like I said earlier, came up, and just a new idea came up that was probably not well thought out again. But this is kind of like a situation where I feel like he doesn't have a whole lot of options, so he doesn't have a lot of time to think about things more carefully. So I guess this is another last-ditch efforts, possibly trying to still get some type of deal, but possibly not with a very high success rate, because this is very much hurried by the seat of the pants type of stuff. Okay, that one and these two. This is the matriarch. Okay, so we have a new player, I think. Somebody who has possibly had some type of matriarchal influence. Somebody who is possibly sympathetic, but his resources are ill spent because we have here the Four of Pentacles in reverse. Next to that, we have the Queen of Wands, also in reverse, called the Public Defender. In this case, possibly public prosecutor, maybe in this sense. In any case, this Queen of Wands knows what she wants, and she is not happy. I think in particular, she's not happy. It doesn't have to be a female, of course, but the person who is represented by this card is not happy with their loss of resources and just the incareful spending that has taken place of the said resources. So while they try to possibly charm them or try to get them convinced that they should try something new, that really didn't have a chance because this matriarchal person said, actually, you know what, I'm kind of done with all of this loss that we've had. We've lost so much already, and you know what, I'm just going to take care of this in my own way, and you can stop talking now, that type of thing. Oh, there's like 5 cards here. We're not going to take all 5. Let's see what else we can get. That one. Okay. It's difficult to shuffle a bunch of cards that are stuck on top of each other. But this one came first. The Ten of Cups again in reverse. All right, so he is probably now aware that there's no escape from the situation. And let's see, this is the Five of Pentacles in reverse. So this is like a bankruptcy card. I think this is also kind of like realizing that you really lost this time. There's no other things you can do. What do we have? We have the High Priestess in reverse. So we're not really being able to connect with our intuition at this point. Possibly very much in the moment. And also losing our cool, obviously, because the High Priestess over there is looking to be very calm and zen-like, but in this situation there's just no chance of that happening. The Six of Wands is back and once again in reverse, so definitely lost any type of positive sentiment from them towards him. And then we have, this is the costume designer, this is Princess of Cups, Page of Cups. All right, so the Page of Cups is usually a surprise as well, and I think that in this case is a negative surprise, although it's in reverse, so it may not have been quite a surprise. It's almost more like an acceptance of reality, like, okay, I guess this is just it then, this is it, and possibly this is the end. Let's see if we can get a couple more cards, maybe just the 2 or 3. Like, this looks like we're at the end of our rope. Seven of Voices again. So we are once again aware that there is trickery. So maybe the whole plan, the whole charade was revealed at that point. We have the Five of Cups, unable to let go of something, and the Six of Pentacles, no charity given. So it looks as though this is kind of like the final big reveal of the whole situation, and probably also where the end approached for Brandon. Looks as though that he was, shortly before everything ended, made aware of the whole situation, of the entire Seven of Swords trickery that was playing in the background. Like, he may have thought beforehand, like over here, that he knew what the landscape looked like, so to speak, how the land lies. But now the entire truth is revealed, and there's just no way to come back from that. There's no charity given, no more second chances, and also the Five of Cups in reverse is like crying over spilled milk. But I think in this case it's more that they're unable to do anything else, or they're not able to let go of anything that may have bothered them in the past. So as they do suspect that the remains that they found are Brandon's, I don't think we need to ask if we're ever going to find anything of his, because they're pretty sure that that's him. I do feel like they probably are right, because I think they found the remains in the area that he went missing at. So I'm not going to ask anything about that. So I think all that we could have learned about it today has been revealed by the cards. So I hope you found that interesting. In any case, make sure to leave a like and a comment. That really helps the channel along. It would also greatly help if you would like to subscribe, then at least you'll always know when my uploads are ready for you to watch. In any case, hope to see you in another video. Thanks for watching, and bye bye for now.